All right, guys, good Thursday morning. So, quick story time, little chat about how my Blockbuster ceremony, my Blockbuster enrolled opening ceremony went on the full moon and the eclipse, the lunar eclipse, which took place on Saturday. I shared some footage from my ceremony with you guys. And the results, at least for me and one of my clients, was immediate. So I am going to interview that client. She actually really wanted to share her story about how quickly and how effectively the ceremony worked for her. But let me share about how it worked for me as the practitioner. So, I actually did the road opener and Blockbuster ceremony for a friend and a client. I had been planning to do this for her for a couple of weeks, but I was waiting on the eclipse because I had some materials that I made that I had charging that wouldn't be done until the eclipse, and it just felt right to do it on the eclipse. So I intended to do one for her and myself, but I had a client, a personal reading that I did for a new client. And after that, I decided, you know what, I really want to do this for them. I want to gift it for them instead of myself. So, excuse me, I'm burping. So what happened was, I I went out and I got I didn't have to go out. I already had the materials to do it for them. And then before I did the ritual, I did like a mini Blockbuster road opener on myself. Just something really quick and light for myself. I didn't do like the full thing that I did for them, just to clear any blockages out of my way so that I could be more effective in my work for them. So I did that, and I only did half. Like, I only burned half of the one that I did for myself because I had to go. Like, I had stuff to do, so I didn't get a chance to burn it all the way down. So I burned it halfway down, and I went and did the ritual for my two other clients. Now, the client that I decided to gift the ceremony to, they didn't really know that I was going to do that for them. That was just something that popped up in my spirit. So I did let them know before I did it to get their permission to be able to do the work for them. And it was fine. So as I was in the ritual and in doing the ceremony, I was having such a great time with it. I had my music, I had the vibes, you know what I'm saying? I had a little drink, I had a little smoke, you know, the things that put me in a good mood and in a good place. And I did the ritual, I started it, and then I lit it. And I would say maybe 20 minutes after I lit the candles. So I get a text message from my broker while I was sitting there just kind of like meditating on the energy. Because like I said, I had just lit the candles and started the work. And for me, I have to be present during the whole entire ceremony. I don't just light it and walk away all the time. So I was sitting there, and then I get a text from my broker. And backstory, I have been working on a listing. I've been selling a house for another friend / client since June or July. And it's been a little bit difficult because this client of mine did not want to cooperate. We kind of bump heads on the price that I thought that they should list the house at in order to sell it versus the price that they wanted to list it at to get a certain amount on it. And so we had kind of been at a deadlock for months because they didn't want to drop the price. And I felt like the price that they wanted to list it at was too high for the property that they want to sell it for various reasons. And it was starting to get contentious because they were going and listening to other agents who have an ulterior motive in order to get them to not listen to me and listen to them, because obviously they want my client. They want them to drop me and then list the house with them so that they can get the commission. But what I was trying to tell my friend, not just my client, but my friend, is that, we want to sell your house, and at the price that you want to list it at, we're not going to sell it. And that's exactly what happened for months and months and months. I had been doing open houses. I had been marketing the house. Nobody was coming to the open houses. Nobody was scheduling showings on the house. And this is for months. And that is very unusual for nobody to even want to schedule a showing. And they were interested in it. I could see the agents who looked up the property on Zillow and in the MLS. And I would contact them and ask them, okay, I saw that you liked the property. I see that you looked at it. Why didn't you and your buyer want to schedule a showing? And it would always be, well, the price was too high. The gist of it was the price was too high for the property. So anyways, we've been in a deadlock since then. And I have had to bring my broker in to kind of work around the issues that we were having in communication, because at one point my client just stopped talking to me. And no matter what I did in order to try to move things along, they wouldn't talk to me. And when they did, it was aggressive. And because we're also friends, I was having challenges with not asserting myself in a certain way that would ruin the whole deal. Like, I had to remain professional even though I was being tried. And I wanted to react a certain way, like, girl. But at the same time, for one, I wanted the commission. But two, we had been working on this for almost a year. I had been helping her get her credit and everything together so that she could get the pre-approval. And at the end of the day, I still have love for her. So I wanted to see this through. So I didn't want to react in any way that was going to ruin the deal. So anyways, I get a call from my broker 20 minutes after I light the candle. I actually got a text. So she sent out a group text to myself and my clients. And I wanted her to approach the price dropping conversation, since that's where the communication with myself and my client went left whenever I tried to get them to lower the price. So I thought it'd be better if she approached the situation, if she tried to get them to lower the price. So she sent out an email, a text message on Saturday after I lit the candle, and she just kind of rolled it out and was like, hey, me and Adina have been talking, and we basically think you should drop the price to $250, and this is why, X, Y, and Z. And I was just like, okay, well, here we go. Let's see if it works better for her. 10 minutes later, my client responds with no hesitation. $255 is fine. I'll talk to my husband and see how he feels about $250. I was like, no back and forth, no rah, 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 no attitude, not even well, let us think about it for 24 hours, because even then, that's usually what they do. They'll say, let us discuss it for 24 hours. She was like, let's try $255, but I'll ask my husband about $250, because the house is actually in her husband's name. So he's the one who actually would have to sign the contract. 5 minutes later, she came back and said $250, but we can't go any less. I was like, Oludumare. I had to just immediately start thanking my spirits, thanking God, thanking my ancestors, and I had forgotten that I had even lit a piece of, so I was attributing the success that I was having to just kind of like leftover residue from me doing the work for my clients, because typically I do get a little bit of the overflow of blessings from when I do work for other people, which is why typically in the past, I was really nervous about putting a price on my work. And y'all, sorry, this is a long time ago. Now, ain't too much for free, unless I feel like giving services away, and I usually do. But my work always works, so it's not too much that I do for free anymore, because my spirits also don't allow it anymore. They don't allow it anymore. They don't like it, unless I'm in a gift-giving spirit, and I usually am. But I repeat, I usually get a lot of blessings just for using my hands for the benefit of others. So I thought, this was just a little bit of razzle dazzle for me, as Spirit's way of saying thank you for, taking care of my people. I hadn't even attributed it to the fact that I had started a little Blockbuster for myself. And even though I use little small candles for myself, my juju is strong. I've shown you guys some of my tea light altar candles, because for one, I don't show my full rituals. And two, I like to show you guys the tea light, because those are mini versions of the full rituals that I'm doing that I don't show. And even those pack a lot of power. As you can see from the little video clips that I've shown of the candles and the way they burn, my juju is very strong. So I always expect it to work. But I was like, damn, I just lit the candles for my clients, and I was the first one to see results. I didn't even think about the little mini tea lights that I did for myself until later. So anyways, you guys, so I was telling my friend, because I was doing it at my friend/client's house, where you guys see me do the readings. I do a lot of work there because I like doing work and doing readings outside, so that I can draw energy from the elements. And plus, I just like the energy there. I like the animals. I feel like they help me with a lot of stuff I do. So anyways, I was at her house, and I was telling her about, because she's a realtor too. That's how we met. And so she knows about the issues and the struggles I've been having with selling this house. And so I was telling her, girl, the phone just rang. It was Courtney. It was Val. It was da-da-da-da. And she was like, girl, you just lit the candles. I was like, I know. And that isn't even my candle. That's you guys' candle. So now we're all hype, because now, and this is her first experience with juju. She is newly out of the church. And so this is her first experience with a spiritual ceremony that does not revolve around a church. But she was just so in awe, and now she was excited and really hopeful about what would happen for her. So you guys, even though I didn't use 7-day candles, I used tapered candles that should have burnt out in about 2.5-3 hours. This road opener and Blockbuster ceremony lasted for about 6 to 8 hours. I actually started, I think I lit the candles around 1:30. I had started preparing everything at 12:45, 1 o'clock. But then when I actually finished and had everything done and ready to light, it was about 1:30. And I was gone. I was home. I would say 2 o'clock when I actually lit the candles. And then it was about 2:15, 2:20 when I started getting the messages about my client, my real estate client, agreeing to drop the price. And the candles, the actual ritual didn't finish until, I would say, after 10 o'clock, 10, 11 o'clock. That was a whole work shift. There was no reason that tapered candles should have lasted that long. And I didn't even use the extra tall ones. I used the medium-sized ones. They should have burnt out in 3 hours, but it took about 6 to 8 hours, maybe 8 hours. I was at home in bed when my friend texted me and was like, it's still going. So it was 2 of them that were still lit. The red ones were still lit. And when she got home. So anyways, I got home, went to bed. Oh, I finished doing my Blockbuster ritual when I got home, went to bed, and then I woke up the next morning, which was this past Sunday morning, to a phone call from my friend. And she's like, and mind you, like I'm still in bed. It's like 9 o'clock. I slept really, 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 really good. It was the first really good sleep I've had in like a couple of weeks. And she's like, girl, you will never believe what just happened. And so she's still in bed, and she's like, I'm in bed, and I hear at the door, and she thinks it's her crackhead neighbor. And I briefly mentioned this in my video that I did, briefly giving this testimony on Sunday. So she thought it was her neighbor who's a crackhead, and she wasn't going to get out of the bed. Well, long story short, she actually has also been managing a property for one of her clients. And the property has tenants who haven't been paying rent. They haven't paid in some time, at least 1 or 2 months worth of rent they haven't paid. And my friend hasn't been able to get her cut for managing that property. She gets a cut from the owner of that property whenever the tenant turns in their rent. So she was down to her last dollar as well. And it turns out the person knocking at her door was the tenant with the rent money that they owed. And they have never showed up at her door to turn in rent money. Typically they deposit the rent money into an account. And my friend, once the seller makes confirmation of receipt of that payment, then she will deposit or wire over my friend's cut for managing the property. Well, the lady showed up on at her door with cash, and my friend was able to take her cut out in cash. Not even 8 hours after the candles lit. And I would say maybe 5 hours after the candles burned all the way out, money showed up on her doorstep. So I'd say within a few hours of the ceremony actually being done, meaning all the candles had burned out, within a few hours, my friend, a person who I actually did the ceremony for, had received her first piece of abundance since a blockage and obstacle had been removed, because this lady hadn't been paying her rent, which means other people couldn't get paid. Well, that blockage was removed. In 20 minutes after me, the practitioner, the facilitator of the ceremony, lit the candles, I had already experienced a major block and obstacle being moved. So I'm not done. So my friend's doing good, because like I mentioned, she is down at her last dollar. Not only that, but there's some other obstacles she's been having in her business, in her real estate business. And within hours, just all of those obstacles have been melting away. Like I remember last Wednesday when we were at the office, last Tuesday or Wednesday, her and my broker were struggling trying to find the owners of a property that they're trying to get in contact with, because they have a buyer. And this is a commercial property. This is like $1 million purchase. And they've been struggling trying to find out who the owners of this property is, so that they can attempt to purchase it, or represent the buyers who want to purchase it. But after I did the Blockbuster, she was able to find who the owners were, because they made it very, very, very difficult to be found. They had, the company the name on the company, the name on the deed was another company whose name on that deed was another company who was a LLC. Like they went through a lot of lengths to protect themselves, obviously, from liability, which is what a lot of business owners do. But anyway, she was just able to find them. She started getting multiple offers on another another big commission deal that she's working on. Everything has just been flowing, that was held up. And now she's busy, overwhelmed because everything that was kind of held up and stalled, now all of a sudden, everything's flowing and she has to go ahead and close out all these deals at the same time. So while she's doing that, yesterday, which was Tuesday actually, I got a phone call. While I'm sitting in bed on my computer, I get a phone call from a real estate agent who I actually used to work with when I worked for a company called Lockheed Martin. And he's like, hey, I see that you are listing a property at such and such and such address, and I have a buyer, and we want to put in a full price offer. Mind you, I did the ceremony on Saturday. They dropped the price on Saturday. So I was prepared to do an open house on Sunday at the new price point. Before I can even get to, it's only been a couple of days since the price has been dropped. And here I am getting a call with a full price offer. These people have not physically seen the house. He was like, my client saw it online, and it's identical to another property that she loved, but she was not able to get. He was like, it's perfect. My buyer wants to put an offer on it, full price. And I'm sitting here in disbelief because all I could do was think about my Blockbuster and road opening ceremony. Now, if you don't know what a Blockbuster and road opener ceremony is, if you have been experiencing any obstacles in life, in any area of your life, any buildup, any energy that just seems like something is blocking your blessings or your abundance or your prosperity or your health, anything that seems like it's being blocked by something, and everything that you try to achieve or accomplish just keeps seeming to face hindrances. And you've been doing the work, you've been doing things that you've been supposed to do to achieve things, but nothing seems to work and nothing seems to come through. That's what a Blockbuster and road opener does, because it's like an atomic bomb of energy that is supposed to, boom, remove and clear everything standing in your life's way, out of the way. And it's supposed to do it quickly. And then it's supposed to, now I combine my Blockbuster and road openers. The road opener is supposed to clear the way after all of the blockages and obstacles are removed. A road opener clears the way for abundance and prosperity to come through. So the road opener has prosperity juju attached to it. And the Blockbuster and obstacle removes the blockages so that the road opener can bring your abundance and prosperity. So this is why it's so good, because I don't just remove the blockages, but I bring in the abundance and prosperity that you was trying to get to. I bring it in, and then I bring it in tenfold. Whatever you were trying to get through that was already there for you, you can now access that, but I call in more. So it was not a full 48 hours, just about 48 hours since the blockage was removed. And then for my situation, and then the road opener came through, because these people have not scheduled a showing, so they haven't seen it. They've seen it online and they said it was perfect. So I'm like, great, send over a written offer, because talk is cheap to me. This is all great until it's written and on paper. He sent the offer, and I was nervous because they were asking for $7,000 in closing costs. And in order for my client to drop the price to $250, they were already offering $5,000 in closing costs at the old price. but they wanted, if they dropped the price to 250, then they were going to remove the concessions. And so now the buyer was asking for, more concessions than my sellers even wanted to give originally. And because they're so difficult, even though this offer was great, because I had gotten other offers which were cash offers, but they were like investor offers, so they are significantly less than the listing price. So we were just turning those down because they were almost like 100K less than the listing price, and we're not going to blink our eye at that. You got to come correct. But this is the first full offer. So even though they wanted 7K in closing costs, it still is a great deal because my client is still going to walk away from this deal, from the sale of her house, and her lender, which is a great lending partner of mine, is going to pay off all of her debts. That means the outstanding balance on their existing mortgage that they already owe, and whatever other debts that they have on their credit score. The lender is going to pay off all of those debts. So they're going to walk away from the sale of this house debt-free with 150K left after all of the bills are paid. Now, they're also going to purchase a new house. So out of that 150K, they will have the money to put down on their new house, and some closing costs if I don't negotiate the closing costs all the way down, because I plan on it. And they'll walk away also with $40,000 after they purchase a new home. They'll still walk away with 40K, and they also want to purchase a food truck for their business. After they purchase their food truck, they'll still walk away from this deal with 20K. So they'll walk away from the sale of their home with a brand new home, bigger and better, brand new, a food truck, no debt, and 20K in their pocket after everything is said and done. That's my juju for you. And for me, I get to do all of this. I do get a commission out of it. But for me, just being able to do this, just being able to be instrumental in a life-changing experience for somebody is enough reward for me. But this all happened within 48 hours after I did the Blockbuster and road opener for my clients and for myself. And even though I only did like a small mini one for me, I start seeing the results the quickest because it was my hands that did the work. So obviously I had the residue left over and the work that I did on myself. But I also think it's because of my selfless giving. I didn't have to take that roll opener that I was going to do for myself and my client and give it to it's actually a subscriber that I did it for. A subscriber of mine who reached out to me for a private reading. It turned out in me gifting them with the road opener. And so now I'm just expecting to hear their testimonies of good news. And I'm also working with them on some other things. So I wanted to record this as a testimony and a review of my own work. I am going to sit down with my client and friend so that she can give you guys a testimony of how the road opener has been working for her. Because I can't speak for everything, that's all the changes that's been happening in her life within since Saturday, since I lit the candle. But she's been experiencing a lot more than I can even speak up for. But I wanted to share my personal experience because I too have been experiencing the results from my own work. And I wanted to share that with you guys. Not just to solicit my work, because yes, that is a part of why I'm sharing this, because my work is great. My work is strong. My work is good. I'm not like these, YouTube and Google and Etsy, girls, and no shade to them, but I'm not in this for the fame or the glory or the monetization. This is my life's work. This is what I do. This is what I've paid dues to do. I would like to help. When I was 12 years old and I was not living, it felt like I was living in the hospital because I was in there so much from chronic asthma. It was one experience where I thought I was going to die, and so did my doctors. They just did not think that they were going to get my lungs to be able to open up before I lost, like I just had too much lack of oxygen to my brain. And I remember as they were getting ready to start some treatments on me, and I was in ICU struggling just to breathe. Like I was fighting for my life. And I remember telling God, you know, if I live, I'll do your work. I'll take care of your people, because at that point, as a child, I knew that I was different. I knew that I was more spiritually inclined. I knew that. And so I felt like that was my purpose, that one day I was going to be giving some kind of spiritual services alongside other business. I always knew what my future was going to be like because I had that vision. So I was saying, I'll take care of your people if you promise to take care of me, like financially and things like that, so that I don't struggle while I'm focusing on doing your work. You make sure that I can thrive and survive in this world, and also allow me to give up my ghost when I'm ready. Meaning I die at an old age and I will be willing to go, but let me give up my ghost. And I felt like that was our pact. So because I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, I get rewards for helping you guys because it's in my heart to do so. It's in my heart to do God's work, and it's also in my heart to do work for people. I'm a servant at heart. So I also share these videos because I want to help you. I just want to help. Everybody's struggling with something in this world, and I have all of this love for people, this love for God, this love for the work that I would, I do things with a joyful heart. I have fun doing the work that I do, doing readings for people, doing the work for people, seeing the results, seeing the joy in people, in them when they see their lives changing, when they see shackles removed, when they see obstacles blocked, when they feel protected, things like that. I get off on that. So I don't just want to solicit myself so that you can hurry up and buy. This isn't really about that. A lot of the things I do, or a lot of the things that I do for people, I volunteer to do. I give. So even if I ask for you guys to describe, and even if my consultations cost, because they do, it's $50 for an hour of time with me. And you get, I do read your birth chart, and I do read the cards, and you have an hour with me to discuss anything. I read anything that's going on with you for a full hour. And if it goes over, a lot of the times it just goes over an hour. But after that, you walk away with a lot more than just a consultation. I'm reading for you. I'm reading your chart for you. I am giving you advice. And a lot of the times after those consultations, we come up with and a lot of the solutions that we come up with after the consultations, a lot of those are services as well. But, you never know just what God will lead my heart to do for you. Rather I just want to help you and do some extra stuff for you. A lot of the times that's what happens, because this work is not my bread and butter currently. If God would like to make it so, I'm open to that. But this isn't where I make, my living. Real estate does that. So for me, this is still a service of love. And I want you guys to experience it because it's good. My hands are strong. My juju is strong. So I wanted to share this review for you guys to let you know that over here in Beyond the Veil, beautiful things are happening in people's lives, not just mine, but other people. And join the team, join the movement, join the family, because my clients are my friends and my family. You guys are my friends and my family. Even my buddies, the animals, love you guys. That's why when I do the readings, they're always talking and wanting to be seen and heard. we all love you guys. We all love this, what we're doing. And so that is my personal experience with my own juju, my own blockbuster um, and road opener ritual. It gets better and better every time. Um, it'll work, even better for the next person. So come see me and enjoy this beautiful, prosperous Thursday, this day of Jupiter. I send blessings, I send prosperity. All of those blessings I speak in abundance tenfold to you again on this beautiful day of Jupiter. May Jupiter bring you wisdom. May Jupiter bring you increased spiritual inclination, if that is what your heart desires. Spiritual protection while the veil is still thin from Halloween. May your ancestors be empowered where they are so that they can empower you. I'm sorry. May you have great days at work, productive days at work. I speak promotions. I speak increases. I speak bonuses and gifts and raises. Increase. I speak multiple streams of income. I speak increased clientele in your businesses. I speak increased sexual drive and sexual energy and passion into your relationships. More passion and romance into your relationships and marriages. More jolly and joyfulness during these holiday times with your families and your kids. More money to be able to give gifts and be jolly and joyful. May God, may Olodumare, the heavens and the ancestors, yours and everyone else's, smile down upon you on this day. Ashe and amen.